Jim Acosta over there from CNN, an accomplished reporter, a guy I've never met, but a good reporter. I mean, treating him like he's, I'm not even going to use the word. I'm not going to give Twitter it's the love it needs. It's crazy what we're watching every day. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy. He keeps repeating ridiculous throwaway lines that are not true at all. Your opposition was hacked, and the Russians were responsible for it, and your people were on the phone with Russia on the same day it was happening, and we're fools for asking the questions? No, sir. We are not fools for asking these questions, and we demand to know the answer to this question. You owe this to the American people. Your supporters will support you either way. If your people were on the phone with her, what were they saying? We have a right to know. We absolutely do, and that you call us fake news and put us down like children for asking these questions on behalf of the American people is inconsequential. The people deserve that answer, at very least.
Information that was false and fake and never happened got released to the public. As far as BuzzFeed, which is a failing pile of garbage, writing it, I think they're going to suffer the consequences. They already are.
Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you give us a question?
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not appropriate.
Quote, demoralizing and disheartening. Now, Senator Blumenthal wants the Supreme Court to say this.
The president, with all due respect, is once again off on the facts. Fake news is the worst thing that you can call a journalist. It's like an ethnic disparagement. You know, we all have these ugly words for people. That's the one for journalists. And David, he just keeps doubling down when the facts don't favor his position.
CNN's reporting was not fake news.
The tone, Jim, if you look, the hatred, I mean, sometimes somebody gets, well, you look at your show that goes on at 10 o'clock in the evening. You just take a look at that show. That is a constant hit. The panel is almost always exclusive anti-Trump. The good news is he doesn't have good ratings, but the panel is almost exclusive anti-Trump. And the hatred and venom coming from his mouth, the hatred coming from other people on your network. Now,
aren't you concerned, sir, that you are undermining the people's faith in the First Amendment, freedom of the press in this country, when you call stories you don't like fake news? Why not just say it's a story I don't like?
I do that.
Call it fake news.
No, I do
you're
that.
undermining confidence in our news media.
Here's the thing.
Isn't
okay,
that important?
I sort of understand there's a certain bias, maybe by Jeff or somebody, for whatever reason, and I understand that. But you've got to be at least a little bit fair, and that's why the public sees it. They see it. They see it's not fair. You take a look at some of your shows, and you see the bias and the hatred. And the public is smart. They understand it.
Attacking our network. I just want to ask you, sir.
I'm changing it from fake news, though.
Doesn't that undermine...
Very fake news.
I know, but aren't you...
Go ahead.
Real news. Real news.
I certainly didn't win by people listening to you people, that's for sure. But I'm having a good time. Tomorrow they will say, Donald Trump rants and raves at the press. I'm not ranting and raving. I'm just telling you, you're dishonest people.
It was a wild press conference, and I think that, first of all, purportedly, the purpose of it was to introduce his new Secretary of Labor nominee, Alexander Acosta. He talked about Jim Acosta more than he talked about Alexander Acosta. He talked about Hillary Clinton more than he talked about Alexander Acosta. He spent the first part of his remarks talking about accomplishments that he thought the media, the fake media, whatever he wants to call us, were not paying enough attention to. But then, instead of focusing on these accomplishments and offering an optimistic, positive view of what he's doing for this country, it was an airing of grievances. It was Festivus. It was complaints about the media. It's not just about electoral votes. It's about the fact that he's still fixated on whether or not he legitimately won the presidency. President Trump, if you're watching, you're the president. You legitimately won the presidency. Now get to work and stop whining about it. But moving on to that,
I think all of us were pretty much stunned by the course of this hour and 15-minute appearance.
The White House has just frozen out media organizations that President Trump has blasted as fake news. Instead of holding the daily press briefing today, the press secretary Sean Spicer called what is called a gaggle with reporters behind closed doors, where he would answer questions off camera. And he handpicked which news organizations could attend. That is highly unusual. Not included were the New York Times newspaper, CNN, and the website Politico. That prompted boycotts. On principle, the Associated Press and Time magazine refused to attend the gaggle. The Times executive editor says, and I quote, "Nothing like this has ever happened at the White House in our long history of covering multiple administrations of different parties." That Dean Baquet protested and said free media access to a transparent government is of crucial national interest. Then this morning, President Trump again called the fake news media the enemy of the people and railed against fake news.
A few days ago, I called the fake news the enemy of the people, and they are. They are the enemy of the people. But I am only against the fake news media or press. Fake. Fake. They have to lead that word. I'm against the people that make up stories and make up sources.
Part of the problem for us in the media is that Trump attacks us so much all the time. You know, we are the opposition party. We're third-rate human beings.
And NBC has suffered the same sort of threat before.
He's attacked our reporter Katie Stern on multiple occasions, and
Absolutely. So myself have had BuzzFeed print things about me that aren't true.
Right.
So
and now you're sounding Trumpish.
And well, no, it's just the truth that this is where this is going to be the undoing of the press if they don't do what you just said. If that kind of serious journalism doesn't happen, and we should be also
But
we should point out that NBC Universal is an investor in BuzzFeed.
Yes, they are.
Anytime that's mentioned.
Right.
He says he knows nothing about it, hasn't seen any of these reports. Is that a problem?
Well, I don't know. Maybe he was watching CNN fake news. What do you think?
You don't buy
That was a joke.
I know it was a joke. I'm saying you don't buy what he said, obviously.
Aaron?
Yes. I'm sorry, Senator. I'm saying you obviously don't buy what he said. You believe that he has seen these reports. I mean, to your point.
Kevin, I'm not. Are we on?
It looks like we've lost connection with Senator Sanders, so let's just try to get that back up. Do we have him back? Okay, so what we're going to do is take a break. I don't want to waste our time. We only have the senator for a few minutes. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back, continue our conversation with Senator Sanders. Plus,
cut you guys short, but I want to get it all in before we have to go. Paris, what do you think?
I think this is fake news. This is not a news story. Don,
tell me what about it is fake, Paris. We're going to go. Are we going down this road again?
Yeah, we are.
Come on, Paris.
I didn't interrupt any of you all. Let me just tell you why. The president is not breaking any laws, and he's not doing anything. It's not his fault.
Okay, Paris, hold on. Let me ask you this.
No.
Let me ask you. I'm going to let you finish. I'm going to let you finish. Do you actually know what the definition of fake news is?
What we're doing right now.
Get out the way. Get out the way. No, okay. Well, then you are part of the fake news because you are on the network and you're part of the.
No.
Fake news is when you. Hang on. Let me explain
story
to people out there watching and you what fake news is. Fake news is when you put out a story to intentionally deceive someone and you know that it is wrong. I don't know of anyone who has put out a story in the mainstream media that I can think of right now to intentionally deceive anyone. Now, people get things wrong, sources sometimes empty, but no one that I know has put out anything to intentionally deceive someone. This story that we're doing right now is not to intentionally deceive anyone. We are simply talking about the cost to keep a president safe, the Secret Service cost, and what are the pros and the cons, and as Andre said, and if there are ways that we can maybe able to work on that to make it fiscally better for the American people. There's nothing fake about that. Please stop it with that stupid talking point that it is a fake news story. If you don't want to participate in the news stories on this network, then don't come on and participate. But don't call them fake because you don't agree with them. Go on.
Don, this is a fake news story, in my opinion.
Move it, get out the way.
because the
Okay,
underlying
Paris,
assumption
thank you very much,
is
everyone.
that.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. Good night, all.